So that's it? We serve our purpose and now they want us out? I'd rather be out there fighting those insurgent groups that keep popping up.
That's why I'm here, to better understand your needs.
I need to stay a trooper.
You get to choose what your lives will be. You spent years fighting for us. Let me fight for you.
What about the interests of the clone troopers?
Why are they not included within this legislation? They're not droids to simply be shut down. These are soldiers who defended us, defended our worlds. After all they have sacrificed, you now wish to discard them, leave them with nothing. Is that how we repay them for their service? Have you asked them? Or do they not get a say in their future? What do you know about their needs? I won't leave such an important task to chance. Clones do not have representation in the Senate. They never have. There are those who view clones only as military assets, but I am working to change that. You deserve to have someone speak on your behalf. Ensure you all have the same rights as any galactic citizen. It is a battle worth fighting.
We shall usher in a new era, heralded by the Imperial Stormtrooper.
The fate of all the clones is now sealed.
But I will keep fighting for the clones. You all deserve the same rights as every citizen. I won't give up.
Thank you for trusting me. I'll do what I can.
Is that sushi? The Bad Batch is back again with Season 2. After the amazing first season with a slightly underwhelming ending, this time I am very excited to see how Dave Filoni and his team will continue the trend of gradually getting better as the show goes on. And I am very pleased to say I think it is slightly better, just a little bit, than the first season. This season is giving us a familiar Bad Batch adventure, but everything feels so different, which is what I love the most about the show. Enough said, or else I'm gonna start on another long speech about how amazing Dave Filoni is. But I'm gonna say it, Dave, you're amazing. Alright, with that out of the way, let's begin. The remainder of the squad continues to live under the Empire's radar after the first season. This time they start to gain a few options of how they want to continue their life, which is proved to be a major dilemma for each member as not everyone has the same goal. The squad goes through a major challenges emotionally and physically to once again fight their way out of the Empire's hand. The most notable is Crosshair, who goes through a tough time to finally realize that his choice may or may not be the wrong one, but it's definitely not the better one. The galaxy is still in deep chaos under the leadership of Emperor Palpatine. More and more clones and senators are starting to raise their voice against the new system, and the Empire continues to suppress anyone who speaks against the Empire. Before I talk about other things, I just need to mention that yes, since the Clone Wars Season 7, the first season of Bad Batch, the animation of the show has been superb on every level regardless if it is the background, location, character models, their facial expressions, movements, the show just looks amazing. We also got a modification on Bad Batch attires, which looks cool and makes sense in terms of story. Also a lot of new aliens and planets, which is just what space opera needs right now. Not every planet needs to be a desert planet, Disney. This time I would say the level of animation doesn't have any major breakthrough like before, but still remains the same high level, which means near absolute perfection for its style. Paired with the impeccable score, you cannot say the show is bad at technical level. The biggest difference I've noticed this time around is the show, with the first season as a very good introduction already, trying to shift the focus from the thrilling adventure that bonded the characters to a more subtle and emotional journey that strengthened their relationship. Last season, most of us can agree that almost half the season were just fun filler adventures that added a little bit of important scenes here and there. Those are fine, but other than those important moments, the episode doesn't really affect the big pictures on a major scale. But this season, I feel like every episode brings a lot of important pieces to a bigger picture, which is a lot more obvious this time around. We speculated about it, we heard rumors about it, but now it is almost a guarantee that the Bad Batch will play a major role in the clone rebellion against the Stormtroopers or something like that. The story starts with Echo wanting to fight for his fellow clone brothers, like how Rex is still fighting. But this is in direct conflict with Hunter's planning, as he just wants to lay low and try to give Omega and his squad a normal life. Echo's intention to fight is the central plot point for the first few episodes, which hits hard on Omega and sets off a chain reaction that will provide a very satisfying payoff later in the season, with her struggling to deal with the constant shrinking of the size of the squad. And this is also connected to the growth of Tech, who is another major highlight for me this season. I will talk about him later. With the story less focused on the action, which is still a lot but not as much as the first season, this makes the pace slow down to a perfect speed that I enjoyed very much. Every scene gives a lot of insight into the deeper mental layer of the characters and how their interaction is the main conflict that drives the decision they made when facing different situations in the story. With the big picture being clearer, the tone of the season also shifts into a darker one, which fits the story well and really gives out the Clone War vibes, especially the episode where Bad Batch is nowhere to be found. That episode is basically the Clone Wars episode, full of political idealists trying to fight for what's right in a time where the wrong person is in charge, and very happy to see Rio Chuchi returns, and her character is the perfect embodiment of Dave Filoni. A person who tries to make the clone mean something, instead of the faceless cool soldier in the prequel movies. Dave used the Clone Wars to make every viewer care about the clones just as much as the main characters, if not more. And now Chuchi represents Dave's mentality in the show. Fight for clones right when no one cares. The episode is a very important midpoint for the season and is necessary for the bigger picture. It also makes way for a new villain to replace Rampart, who did shine a bit in the first season, but I didn't really see him as a threat. He is more like a young and determined young man wanting to make a career in the Empire. But Hemlock is someone that looks like a villain, sounds like a villain, slow voice paired with his intelligence and resources really makes him a compelling successor to Rampart as the new baddie. We didn't see a lot of him, but hopefully he will have much more to do in the next season. He is also important in Palpatine cloning thing, so expect more of him. Another standout episode is the Pabu one. No villain or opposing forces, just well-built stories and characters finally found something that they want, but not something that they should have. It may seem boring for some, but I don't think it is that boring. None of the episodes are, and this one being so different is very refreshing, and it did the best with the unique stories. Crosshair takes a much smaller role this time, only having appeared in certain episodes dedicated to him, and those are the best in the season. Dave Filoni once again letting an Empire character realizing his loneliness within the system and how the character craves real relationship more than doing the right thing in their mind. We have seen this with Agent Callus in Star Wars Rebels and now Crosshair. They even shared a similar shot that convey their loneliness in a very straight and powerful way. Just a man who doubts his choice, which causes the loneliness within them, represented by a wide shot of the cell-like quarter. This is Dave Filoni, so everything is connected. So glad to see Cody's story after Revenge of the Sith. They will say this is just a fan service, but I need to state that even though it definitely is a fan service, Dave is able to give his presence a meaningful reason, which makes it an incredible episode that jump-started Crosshair's change of mind. The episode is really amazing in terms of the drama and the emotion that the characters are experiencing. The next time he appears, this doubt escalated into uncontrollable rage, which gives him a very powerful and understandable reason for Crosshair's first act of turning back to the light. The moment is extremely heartfelt, and the Cody's episode really set up this one very well. Love Crosshair in the season. And the last season too. And in Clone Wars Season 7. I love them all. Now let's move on to Tig, the standout from the original squad this season. Before, he was just the smart guy in the squad that always did the tech stuff in the background. But this season, they put him at the forefront most of the time, which is necessary for the ending to work. And work it did. There is even an episode focused on tech, which is not really that good when compared to the others, but I still enjoyed it because it builds tech a lot more. This season, Tig
doesn't seem right.
Tig is the guy who saves the squad from time to time, and all of it shows on the screen. And they use the Omega mental problem to give him more depth than before. He subtly transformed from a high IQ, low EQ person to a highly competent member and a family, which is so heartwarming. And this perfect growth makes his ending work so well that if you didn't feel anything when it happened, what the hell are you watching? But I would say his relationship with the new character Fee is out of nowhere. It does make sense in a story as Tig learns to be more people-oriented, but at least builds it for a little while, man. The relationship just suddenly appears out of the blue and leads to nothing within the season. That is probably the only thing I have a complaint about. The season also tries to break up the squad from time to time in order to dedicate certain episodes to certain characters, which really help those characters a lot. Crosshair, Omega, and Tig all are elevated to another level in this season. Omega's role diminished a little bit, but it makes her more likable as she only appears when she is absolutely needs to. And every time she is going through emotional turmoil, which makes her character flesh out more and more as the story goes on. Crosshair's journey is just perfection. Tig become the MVP of the squad this season. Just right choice after right choice after right choice. It also finishes the Clone Wars leftover storyline and completes them. The Zillo Biz is back, baby! I know Dave loves Zillo Biz. He said that during an interview, if I remember correctly. Amazing continuation for the story. Another familiar concept being given a new interpretation is Kashyyyk and the Wookiees. Gunji is back, baby! We got deeper and closer into the religions and livelihood of Wookiees, which is just awesome for the Star Wars lore. And not just those, the freaking worm is back, baby! Talk about continuity, Disney. This is how you make something that fits in with the universe, not ignoring the bad, pretending like they don't exist, but finds way to make them fit into the world and make sense. The worm is used as a silent assassin for close quarter assassination. Of course, that is its function. The ending this time is definitely a lot stronger than the first season. This ending gives me the Empire Strikes Back vibe, where the second time the hero failed spectacularly and needs to overcome insurmountable odds next time to make everything right. Side note, another thing I don't like about, which is pretty minuscule, is the depiction of clone commandos. They are basically your typical stormtrooper now, just idiots for the Bad Batch to dispose of. Like, come on, they are the commando. Let them do their thing. They only showed up for a little in season 1 and they were absolutely badass. This time they suffer from overexposure, which turns them into some sort of jokes, just showed up to get beaten up like the stormtroopers in Rebels. So, same high-level technical masterpiece, greater storytelling, better characters, more focused story, addition to the lore, just a full enjoyable season. If you love the first one, the slow pace may be a little bit of a drag, but I can still see you enjoying this one. Just not as much as me, I love it. I think it makes this season a little bit better than the first. I love the show, and most of us are. I'm trying not to shit on other Disney stuff, but without that shit, this show is still amazing. Let's pray Dave and his team will keep doing their thing like this and not suddenly get scrapped by Disney for some reason. I love this. Give me more!
I want more.
Move along.